Okay, so for 10.4 number 61, we would like to solve this for x, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing else. There's just an x, right? So we're going to solve for x. All right. How do I do this?
Square both sides.
Definitely don't do that.
Add 1 to the set.
Why wouldn't I square both sides first?
Because it got that negative, that
Because
minus
the
1
negative
there.
1 would become a positive 1.
Because when I think about, okay, I'm going to take this stuff and square it, right? I'm going to have to FOIL that junk out. There's going to be some cross terms. It's going to be horrible. Okay, see that? My goal is to rid myself of the square root, not make more of them. Okay? So whatever you do should be predicated on this, like, okay, I want to get the square root by itself so I can square both sides and get rid of it. Cool? So the first thing we're really going to do is not solve for x. We're going to solve for, right? So this step is going to look like solve for root of whatever. Okay, see that? What's the actual method I use for doing that? What do I do to both sides?
Add 1.
Yeah, if I add 1 to both sides, I'll get the square root of 2x squared plus 3x is, what do I get on the right-hand side? X plus 1. Okay, now I've solved for the square root of stuff. Now I can square both sides. You guys like that one? I made this up the other day. I'm pretty proud of it. The hypercube one, the one where you raise both sides to the 4th power, that one's hard to draw. But square and the cube one are good. So here I'm squaring both sides. What do I get on the left?
2x squared plus 3x.
Okay. What do I get on the right?
X plus 1 squared.
Like this?
No, quantity squared.
Yeah, make sure you square the whole side. Okay, so now what's my next step going to be?
Now you solve for x.
No.
Well, by doing that, you're going to FOIL it out.
Yeah, first things first, I should combine like terms, right? That means I'm going to have to FOIL. So let's see, I've got 2x squared plus 3x is
X squared plus 2x plus 1.
x squared plus 2x plus 1. Very nice.
And then you can add subtract.
Okay, so yeah, now I want to get the what?
You want to get everything on one side.
Yeah, it depends on your technique, right? Somehow I want to solve this quadratic problem, right? This is like a chapter 8 problem,
X squared
right?
plus x minus.
So there's some techniques we could use. We could complete the square. We could use the quadratic formula. We could try to factor, right? Pick one. I would recommend group it all together to one side and then try to factor or use the quadratic formula.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you going to do to both sides to get everything?
We'll subtract x squared plus 2x plus 1.
Okay, so I'd subtract x squared, subtract 2x, subtract 1 all at once. You guys can do this in multiple steps if you want. I'm not going to complain at all. In fact, I would be pretty pleased if you did this in 3 steps. Okay? However you do it, get it right. So how many x squareds do I get on the left-hand side now?
1.
X squared plus x.
I get 1x squared. How many x's?
1.
1. And how many units?
Minus 1.
Minus 1. So I've got this. Okay, what do I do with this?
Factor or
Try to factor. Okay, so when I factor, what do I need?
2 numbers that add or multiply the -1 but add to 1.
Have I got that in my head? I don't seem to. Right? Whoops. Okay, so I can't factor this, at least not right away. How long do you try to factor before you go on to something else?
30
minute.
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it someplace between 30 seconds and a minute. Don't spend your life on it. If it does factor, is quadratic formula going to hurt you? It's only going to cost you a little bit of time and maybe introduce an arithmetic error, right?
Just maybe.
But factoring might introduce an arithmetic error anyway, so I'm kind of okay with this. So if I do the quadratic formula, what are a, b, and c?
1, 1, and negative 1.
1, 1, and negative 1.
Also ones.
So I say, all right, x is
Negative 1 plus or minus square root 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1. All over 2 times 1, which is 2.
okay. So I plug this junk in the quadratic formula, and I get
1 plus or
x
minus.
is negative 1 plus or minus the square root of
5.
5 over 2. Oh, super cool. This is a very cool number. It is. This is a fundamentally cool number. This is the only number with minus 1. Plus 1. Plus 1? Minus 1. Doesn't matter. It's the same. Right? This is the golden ratio. When you draw a rectangle, right? The pleasing rectangle has, this is one of the sides, and its reciprocal is the other one. This happens, trust me. It's very cool. Anyway, forget the fact that this is important. This is a number. Cool? Number. Now, what do I do with the number? Circle it? Go on with my life?
No, you want to have it do that. Negative 1 plus square root of 5 over 2 is one answer. And negative 1 minus square root of 5 over 2 is one answer. And then circle it.
Like this?
But the book doesn't give you the option for the minus root 5.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Because that would cause division by, or not division, but squaring by a negative.
Yeah, if I try to plug those back in here. Yeah, this one doesn't fit. I'm not so worried about this.
Gotcha.
I would like it if you knew that there was possible that one of them wouldn't fit. And I would like for you to think about how you would decide whether or not they both fit. But these guys are kind of messy.
Yeah,
The way to figure out if they fit would be to find out what the domain of this function is, right? You guys want to spend a minute and think about it? It's not so bad. We have 5 minutes. I'm going to do this with it. Deal with it. So I want to know about the domain of this function, right? Okay. So what's the domain of the function? F of x is 2x squared plus 3x squared. Okay? Okay, so what can't you fit into a square root?
Negative number.
Negative number, right?
So x has to.
Okay, so I need this stuff to be positive.